Tandem Nomads, episode 295. You might have been thinking of starting your business or launching something new in your business or completely pivoting your business, but it's been a while now that you feel like you're dragging on taking that action. So if that's you, today we're going to talk about analysis paralysis, one of the biggest symptoms that solo entrepreneurs struggle with. Hello and welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and resources to grow a successful portable business that is aligned with your lifestyle and your priorities. This is your host, Anel Tadegi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. Today, I want to talk to you about one of the biggest challenges of solo entrepreneurs, although I have seen a lot of big organizations also struggle with this, which is the syndrome of analysis paralysis. So analysis paralysis is when you're stuck in overthinking or overanalyzing a decision to the point where you can't make any decision at all or take any action. You're basically frozen from all the thinking and analyzing. You might find yourself in this situation if, for instance, you really cannot wait to leave your job and start that business that really motivates you and makes you feel excited. You've been dreaming about this, but as soon as you started thinking about how to take action and get it done and the steps to actually start quitting, then suddenly you see yourself dragging that decision. Or maybe you're looking at launching a new product or service in your business and you keep thinking about it, you keep planning it, but nothing is moving forward, nothing is happening. Another thing that I've seen some people do is wait to put up their website, although everything is ready. Oh, but I'm not sure about this and that, so I'm going to wait until I share my website with everybody. Or not even going to networking events because your pitch is not really ready or your services are not really ready yet. So you're not going to go network, or you don't really tell to people what you do and you don't really dare to sell your services because you're really not sure if this is the one thing that you should do. These are just few of the ways that you might have experienced where analysis paralysis might be stopping you from taking action. So the signs of analysis paralysis, the first one is obviously when you start overthinking. You're spending too much time thinking about a decision without taking the action to move forward. The other sign to pay attention to is when you see yourself procrastinating, delaying taking that action because of fear of failure or making the wrong choice. The other one of a big sign is looking for perfection, trying to wait until that product or that webpage or that business card or that logo looks really good enough for you, which is actually perfect, in fact, what you're trying to do. And that search for perfection, that strive for perfection is what is leading you to overanalyze all the details before you actually take action and make a decision. The other sign that you might see is when you struggle to stay focused, when you're feeling yourself that you're all over the place and completely scattered. So that's also another thing. Sometimes we talk about analysis paralysis as not taking action, but sometimes when you see yourself doing a lot of things all over the place, that might also be a signal to pay attention to. I really believe that one of the ways to stop analysis paralysis is to take action no matter what it is, right? But if you're continuously taking action without being focused and without a direction, then that is also something that can lead you to really feel overwhelmed and completely stuck in that rabbit hole. Another sign to pay attention to is when you're feeling overwhelmed. When you've been researching, consuming a lot of information, a lot of data, getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people, and then suddenly all of that is so overwhelming that you're struggling to have clarity and to make decision and to take action, which also leads to you being super indecisive and having difficulty to feel really sure about whether this is the right direction for you to go with or not. Another sign is when you are avoiding to take decisions or keep postponing a deadline, for instance. Let's say you wanted to launch an event and you keep pushing that date again and again and again. And that means that you're trying to avoid something, which leads you to another sign is all this self-doubt, feeling unsure about your ability to do whatever you want to do successfully. And that can lead you to overanalyzing as well and feeling stuck, as well as having all these negative self-talk. We talk about this a lot in this podcast, all this limiting beliefs, but also the stories you're telling yourself. This can also lead you to lose confidence and to not find the courage to take the big decisions that you need to take in your business. And finally, if you see yourself over researching excessively to the point where you are so, again, overwhelmed and not taking any action because you might be using research as an excuse to not get started. Researching can also be a way to look for that perfectionism and waiting for that perfect moment or perfect information that you need to start feeling confident and get things done. So tell me if this is some of the things that you've experienced in your journey. If so, don't you worry, know that you are not alone. For a fact, I've been there, and a lot of the clients have been there before they started working with me, and that's why they actually came to me to start getting things done. So I want to share with you here some insights to help you understand a little bit more the phase you might be in, but also if you're not in that phase, how to make sure to avoid it and see it on time before you get stuck there. Because indeed, if you get stuck for too long in that phase of analysis paralysis, it might get really hard to get out of it. The longer you are stuck there, the more difficult it will be to get out of it. The more frustrated you will get, but also discouraged. But one of the worst consequences of analysis paralysis is when you end up stuck in that very, really vicious circle that can even lead to burnout and to complete discouragement and loss of confidence and giving up once for all your idea, your business, and your own self-fulfillment and your own growth and financial independence. So these are some big consequences that can happen. You can, in fact, miss a lot of opportunities by not addressing your analysis paralysis and identifying it very early on. You might miss opportunities to make money, miss opportunities to get exposure, miss opportunities to make a bigger impact for the people you want to serve. But you might also lose a lot of money. So it's really important to really take this seriously, because when you lose money, then you get even more discouraged and end up feeling really, really in a bad place. So you don't want to feel that way, obviously. The other thing is that it might delay your progress. And one of the things that I've seen a lot and heard a lot from people is telling me, oh my God, where did my life go? I've been postponing and pushing this so much that now I see that it's been 5 years, 10 years since I've been thinking about this and not doing anything. So obviously this is really the extreme when you wait for many years, but I can tell you indeed that the average people who come to me, they've been thinking about doing what they want to do, either start a business or take their business to the next level for the past year or two. So it's not dramatic, but it could actually be much earlier. I do believe that sometimes there is a right times for things, right? People come at the right time when it's right time for them. But you also don't want to keep waiting for that right time until you have missed that opportunity to actually get even more chances to grow your business. And the earlier you do it, the faster you will learn and the faster you will actually be able to grow that business. So delayed progress is a big symptom as well of analysis paralysis, on top of the decrease of confidence that I mentioned before, and the anxiety, the stress, the burnout, and the lack of productivity. So these are all some really negative consequences that you might be experiencing if you don't tackle this as quickly as you can. In fact, what I would like to do here with this episode, with all the learnings that I've had from my experience and working with my clients, is for you to avoid that regret. For you to avoid that a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years, hopefully not from now, you look back and you're like, oh my God, why did I wait so long? Where did my life go? And why did I wait so long to actually do what I always wanted to do? So let's tackle that and make sure that it doesn't happen to you. So here are some things you can do to really avoid getting stuck in analysis paralysis. The first one is to set clear goals and clear priorities. This is so important so that you know exactly what you need to do, and commit to them, obviously. Then you want to limit your options. One of the reasons why people get stuck is because they think that they should analyze all the different ways they should do something. So at some point, you need to make a decision, even if it's the wrong ones. Just limit your options and focus on the ones that are the most feasible for you right now. And then take action. Sometimes the best way to break out of analysis paralysis is to simply do something. Take a small step. Done is better than perfect. And perfection is the enemy of good. So take action, and then you can seek for feedback. Usually we seek for a lot of feedback, and that gets us lost so that we don't take action. What I would say is take action and then get the feedback so that you can have really tangible information about the actions you've taken. The other thing to do is to set a deadline. Make sure that you have a clear deadline that can help you make decisions and take action. It will help you avoid getting stuck. Just commit to that deadline, set it up, and commit to it no matter what. This is really key for you to not get stuck there. And finally, the key thing here for you to be able to take action is to practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and remember that making mistakes is a natural part of the learning process. Because at the end of the day, I believe that there's 4 big reasons that are leading solo entrepreneurs and everybody in general getting stuck into paralysis analysis. And the first one is the fear of failure. Being afraid of making the wrong decision is what leads to sometimes overanalyzing to avoid making those mistakes. But also the second thing is the lack of confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, that you can do whatever you want to do, it'll be hard for you to take action and feeling confident about those actions. So it's important to also know that confidence comes by doing, not by thinking. Start doing it, start practicing, start learning, and then the confidence will come with time. It's just like with this podcast show. When I started my first episode, I was freaking out. It took me so long to feel confident, but the more episodes I made, the more confident I was about taking the microphone and not even having to prepare so much my episodes to let myself share my insights with you. And that, the more I did it, the more confident I got with it. And the third thing that I talked about, but I want to insist on, is perfectionism. This disease that's called perfectionism is also what will really lead you to not be willing to do things halfway or make mistakes or not doing them perfectly. You absolutely need to stop analyzing every detail of the project that you want to launch so that you can feel more free to get started without worrying too much about the consequences. But here is the last piece, and probably the most important piece, that leads to analysis paralysis. The least clarity you have, the more chances you will get stuck into paralysis analysis when you're trying to look for the information to get clarity and struggle to find it. And that research and that process of analyzing and overthinking is what might lead you to feeling paralyzed and even more uncertain than when you started this process. And unsecure about the next actions to take for you and the decisions you need to make. And that's when having the support you need becomes really, really useful and helpful for you to not only save time, but also save energy and even save you money from trying too long and postponing too long certain opportunities. In fact, the lack of clarity can cost you money and cost you opportunities. The thing about clarity is that we often look for answers outside of us, when very often the answers that you need are inside of you. But as every human being, sometimes we don't have the distance that is needed to be able to have that clarity. And that's when having a mentor or a business coach can be very, very valuable. And that's where I come into place very often when I work with my clients. So if you have been stuck for too long in analysis and paralysis, and you feel like it really comes from a lack of clarity, and you haven't been able to find the answers on your own or the people you have around you, then consider hiring a coach who knows how to guide you through this process. So if you've been considering, for instance, working with me, here are some of the ways that I know that working with me will help you in the process of getting unstuck. The first thing is that as a solo entrepreneur, it can be difficult to see the big picture and make informed decisions when you're so close to the solution. So working together will be all about getting objectivity and perspective that you alone might not be able to have. I will help you gain clarity on your goals and your priorities and identify as well the blind spots that might be holding you back. Basically, I would be helping you looking at things from a different angle so that you can as well figure out the right answers for you while having my guidance. The second piece that can be very helpful when you have the right coach is to get accountability and motivation. So one of the things that I know from the clients I work with, they are already highly motivated and driven entrepreneurs and individuals. They are all focused on the impact they want to make while growing their business and making sure to be effective with their time. But when you're on your own, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle of overthinking and procrastinating, even when you are very self-driven. So as a coach, I can help you break that cycle and stay motivated, but also focus in taking the right actions towards your goal and keep you accountable while also letting you know when, okay, this might not be the right direction, even if you're doing the right thing. Let's reflect on it if this is actually what will serve you best. Which leads me to the third point, which is expertise and guidance. With my background, I've been now working with over 150 solo entrepreneurs and developing my own business in the past 12 years. So obviously, I will first of all be making sure that the answers come from you and that you have the clarity and that we get the answers first from you. But then I can also come into place to give you some really tangible feedback and experience to help you make informed decisions. If, for instance, there are some decisions that are similar to those that I have been doing or that my clients have been doing in the past. The whole goal here is to avoid that you do some of the common pitfalls and make the most common mistakes, and also focus on your strengths, the things that will work for you and not necessarily everything that works for everybody else. Which actually leads me now to the fourth point, is to help you have customized solutions. Every solo entrepreneur is different, and for every entrepreneur is different. And there's no one size fits all solution to analysis paralysis, but also to any issue that you have in your business. So I'll be working with you to develop customer solutions and to make sure that we are developing an action plan that fits your needs. By the way, this is one of the biggest things that I'm most passionate about. As you know, Tandem Nomads is all about building a successful portable business that is aligned with your lifestyle and your priorities. So in the process, it's important to have clarity on what are those priorities in your life. What are the other things that are happening in your life that are interfering in your decision process and in your action process. When we align your life with your business, you suddenly have more space and more bandwidth to actually take action, because you're not worried if taking action here will not be a sacrifice on the other side. And I think that's one of the biggest things that also gets a lot of solo entrepreneurs, especially stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads, that really struggle to bring their ambitions to the world, is because they're worried that what if I start doing this and I don't have the time anymore for my family? So this is a big one that's, for me, is really important to look at, and to sit down and look at what are the things that need to happen in your life. What are your other priorities that we need to consider when we make those decisions and design that action plan? The final point about deciding to invest in the support you need is to invest in your long-term success. In fact, by working together, we'll look at the immediate needs that you have, right? Look at the immediate obstacles that you're meeting that are leading you to analysis paralysis, but also your immediate needs in terms of strategy and action plan. But my goal when I work with my clients is also to give them the tools and the resources and the methods for them to be able to, after then, run on their own and grow on their own. So the idea is to also provide you with long-term success methods, and also rewire and reframe some of the ways you might be thinking, so that down the road you can do things on your own as well. And you can also catch yourself, if you are in analysis paralysis, on yourself at some point, so that you can then make the right decisions. It's all about starting to have the right strategies for the long-term success. And this is something that is really important to me. As much as we might be working on short-term goals, the idea is also how to implement solid foundations for your business for a long-term sustainability and growth. And that's also something that I'm really, really passionate, how to build the right foundations that will help you stay consistent. And even when you need to pivot strategically while having the right foundation, so that you don't have to crumble every time something does not go as planned in your business. In fact, entrepreneurship is a journey with ups and downs. But the more our solid foundations are there, the better it is to navigate that journey and make quick decisions when things don't go as planned, and make quick decisions when we see opportunities that we should take right away instead of waiting to be able to take them. It's all about developing the right mindset for growth, but also the right tools and strategies for long-term success. I would love to be that coach for you. And if you are interested, make sure to schedule a free introduction call with me, where we'll discuss your situation and we'll see if I could be a good fit for you. And if I can share with you any tips during that call, know that I would definitely do. So you'll find in the show notes of this episode the link to schedule the call. Go to tandemnomads.com/295. If you are in that place where you feel you've been stuck for too long, overthinking and analyzing everything, I really hope that this episode has helped you identify why you might be stuck and what you can do about it. And hopefully, definitely you'll be reaching out if you need my help. Make sure to share this episode if you know other people who might be in that area stuck and who might need help to feel a bit more inspired to take action. In any case, I invite you, no matter where you are in your journey, to turn your challenges into great opportunities. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to meeting you in the next episode.